nobody's watching, so I guess I could get undressed here on camera. Hopefully without feeling out all my notes in here. Thread this out. Talk about behind the scenes. Go full speed. There we go. That over there. This behind here. And stuff sticking out of my cable. My jeans. And put this back here. Okay. Fun. Well, gonna get a treat on the replay. And as the music slowly fades, there it goes. But it's coming back. Welcome to the GoFor Lunch pre-show. This is our 10-minute warm-up where we make sure everything is working properly. And look at that. Our on-the-air monitor is working. And our delay is not that bad today, only like about 10 seconds. Smile. So I'm getting a message here from one of my, actually not one of my producer. And she's saying smile. Let's see if we can't put that on the air. So, if you're joining us, say hi in the comments. What part of the world are you coming from? Or probably more accurately, what part of Pima County are you coming from? So here we have a lightning cable plugging into the GoFor there. And we're going to plug the iPhone in. And we're going to tap this message over. We turn the oops. There we go. Okay. We expanded it as we can. So we'll be live. Thank you for joining us. So standing by. Well, welcome, Bob. Bob wants to know about this large curved monitor right here. So it is large, it is slightly curved. I got a really good deal on it, and I really love it. So it's 29 inches across, and so I can put 2 or 3, full-size pages on it. It's great for my production because I can have my Ecamm production software over on this side. Over here, can't see my hand because Mr. GoFor is in the way. There we go. Over here I have my keynote presentation, so I can have things spread out and easy to get to. I can see everything, or at least a part of everything. So it really works well for me. And bigger is better in this particular case. So, hi Betty, glad you could make it. We got some information coming to you here later today to answer some of your questions. So I'm glad you could join us. Who else is out there? I know there's 6 people out there. So I'm going to hi Kay, nice to have you with us. And from the Caribbean we have Leslie Ann, and of course the Phil and Phyllis show are here. Thanks for joining us. Good afternoon. Oh my goodness, look, the music has stopped. We're starting the show. This is amazing. Welcome to GoFor Lunch number 39 on this GoFor Day. Now, some of you may think this is Groundhog Day. This is GoFor Day. So what happens is the gopher, I think his name is Sonoran Sam, he pops his head out of his little burrow, looks around, sees the blue skies, the white clouds, and says, "This is Arizona." And so it's continues to be Arizona for the rest of the year. So that's what happens on Gopher Day. And thank you, Carolyn, for joining. I hope to actually increase your computer knowledge. And Stanley is with us. Good morning, good afternoon, Stanley. And Carolyn is jealous of Leslie Ann, who is in the Caribbean. So I'm going to try something really ad-libbing here. So Alexis, who is our producer and graphic artist, is walking the beach on the Oregon coast. So she just sent me this message. So there are her poodles. One obviously in its storm gear there, and the other one is in a little abbreviated little jacket there, because in Oregon this time of year, talk about clouds, they got them. And I'm guessing that it is now, or has been, or will be soon raining. So there's a little quick peek as to life on the Oregon coast. And thank you, Alexis, for tuning in, sort of. She didn't actually tune in. She messaged me that she would be catching the replay and keep sending these pictures. And it is lovely in the Caribbean. So today we're going to talk about something that, again, was inspired by one of you. So one of my clients, we'll call him Harry, went out and bought a printer. But what he didn't do is he didn't ask Roger before he bought it. As is noted in the Gopher Gazette, our newsletter that comes out every Monday morning about 7 o'clock, pre-purchase consultation is free. Take advantage of that. So I would rather have you call me and allow you to get the correct component the first time around than to do what Harry did. And he got the wrong thing. And we fixed that, but it took him a lot of time, trouble, and money. Hi, Judy. Thanks for joining us. So we're going to talk today about how you can avoid getting the wrong thing first by getting the right thing first. So let's jump in and talk about that. By the way, if you're new here, please type in new in the comments. I'd like to meet you. My name is Roger Harmon. I'm with GoFor Technology, where we make your technology work for you. So the whole idea here is to research before you purchase, okay? And be a wise consumer. So how do you do that? Well, the research can be done in many ways. One of the things that I use the most is Amazon reviews. But I start with the 1-star review. So I'm starting here at the bottom for the 1-star review. Now, when we look at this review, and this is actually the review on this printer that Harry bought. And so this is the actual review. So you can see this looks pretty good. He has a 5-star, or the printer has a 5-star review of 72%, 4-star review of 14%. Now my criteria is to add up the 5-star and the 4-star, and if that comes to 80% or more, then I'm pretty happy. But I still go to the bottom and look here at the 1-star. Another thing I do is I make sure that the reviews are verified purchases. So what that means is that Amazon has verified that the person writing the review has actually purchased the product. Because there can be, believe it or not, fake reviews. There's just a lot of people out there doing the wrong thing, and fake reviews are a big thing. So when you see reviews that are grammatically incorrect, they could be fake reviews coming from a foreign country. one note here, as I have been reading Amazon reviews, which I unfortunately spent a lot of time doing. It's unfortunate because you can't trust just this graph here. Quality control lately on many different products seems to be something that companies are not really into. Printers is one good example. I was researching USB hubs recently, and I was just discouraged because I didn't really find that it's so, Bob. It's so. Can't see all that, but it's so that there is such a thing. So quality control is frustrating, and we'll see an example of that here in a second. So we're going to look at the 1-star reviews. So here we are in the actual Amazon page on Safari. So if we go up here, we see we're talking about the Envy 6055 wireless all-in-one printer. So exactly the same graph that we just showed. So then they give a little the best and not even the worst here. So the best, this guy went on and on. I mean, he wrote, I don't know, 4 or 5 paragraphs. And they don't show you right at this point whether it's a verified purchase or not. I think his was. Then this is a 3-star review, which is surprising considering the fact that it wouldn't work with Wi-Fi. And he thought that HP Ink had been discontinued, which is not true. I just set up HP Ink for Harry last week. So I don't know, he got a little confused on that. So as we scroll down here on the reviews, these are the 1-star reviews. 1-star reviews. This guy is a person that thinks he's a pretty technologically savvy guy. He started getting error messages, and then he got, this is what I love, he got an error message from the HP printer that says, quote, "Something is wrong with the printer." No error code to tell you what might be wrong, just something is wrong. So again, here's what I was talking about. He says that 10 years ago his HP printer worked great. This one is being returned and he's getting a different printer. Then we have Michael, or Michelle, I guess, who says the worst printer that she's ever owned. Here, extreme failure. The worst. Will not print. Tech support is unsatisfactory and unacceptable. Okay, so another thing that you want to look for in reviews is how good is that tech support. Maybe there's just a little glitch, and if they have good tech support, then you can call them, they can guide you through it and make the product work the way it should. But if the tech support is either not good or many times non-existent, or you can't ever get to a human being, you get lost in the voicemail jail, then that's not a good thing. So here, something is always wrong, does not work with Adobe, frustrating, 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 followed by the printer frustrates me. So that's just the first page of the reviews. Now you can see here there were 4,651 reviews. So these 1-star reviews would be going on for several pages. So what does one do when one gets here? So one goes to a different source. Now that different source is, we get back over here, and we can also go to similar products. So when you are on a page, whether it be Amazon or Office Max, Office Depot, Best Buy, they're going to suggest other similar products. So you can look at other similar products, and of course you're going to want to read the reviews on those products. Another source is called the Wirecutter. The Wirecutter has been around for many years. They do exhaustive reviews on many different products, not just electronics. You can find out about mattresses, for example, on the Wirecutter. And they did such a good job that the New York Times purchased the Wirecutter. So to me, that seems like a pretty good endorsement. So if we go to the Wirecutter and we look at their reviews on printers. So the way we got to this page was I did a search up here in the search box for the best AIO, all-in-one printer, as you see here at the bottom of the screen. So that's abbreviated AIO. And this, another HP printer. So I'm not condemning HP necessarily. I'm just saying that you gotta review these things closely. So to show you how thoughtful the Wirecutter reviews are, they start the review off with most people really don't need an all-in-one printer. So we're going to switch over here to this actual review. So there's the first choice from the Wirecutter. And so here's that line that most people don't really need an all-in-one printer. A good scanning app, and when they say an app, they are talking about a scanning app on your iPhone. So you don't need a scanner anymore, folks. The app on your iPhone or your iPad does a great job. Unless you're like doing genealogy or something where you're scanning loads of documents, then that's of course certainly a different story. And you can buy a cheap laser monochrome printer. So no color, just a laser monochrome printer, which you can get for around $120 or less on sale. However, they say if you have a school-age kid, or I'll add if you work for a volunteer for an organization where you're doing newsletters or flyers or things like that, then an all-in-one printer might be the thing for you. So they like the HP OfficeJet Pro 9015, and that costs $230. Interestingly enough, it's not on Amazon, and the reason for that may be that manufacturers put out different model numbers for different vendors. So they have a printer just like this on Amazon, but it doesn't have the same model number. So this model number seems to be the one for Staples, so $230. Another thing, since we're talking about printers, that you want to consider is the cost of ownership. What does that mean? Well, so you have the cost of the printer. So number one, you have the cost of the printer. Number two, you have the cost of using the printer. So that is the cost of ownership. How much does it cost to print a page? And Wirecutter has given the answer to that question. So we'll just zoom into this a little bit, and so you can make sure and see this. So hopefully everybody can see that when, oops, we went a little too far. There we go. Okay. So I want to make sure you see this. So you can see here the cost for black printing, black on white text, is 2.2 cents per page. For color, it's 9 cents, 8.9 cents. Okay, so that's your cost of ownership. Every time you print, it's costing you. Now, on this particular printer, you get a 6-month trial to HP's Instant Ink. I've done a lot of research on the Instant Ink. I haven't done a GoFor Lunch on it, but I do have a presentation, so I may throw that into a GoFor Tech briefing here for you. But I have done a lot of research. I was very skeptical to begin with, but after doing the research and after having quite a few clients use this, nobody's complained. And the way it works briefly is if you print 50 or less pages per month, it's $3. That works out to $36 a year. Now, as you know, if you go buy cartridges, one color cartridge or one black cartridge could cost you almost $36, and of course the 4 cartridges would cost you a lot more. So the Instant Ink program is a very good choice. So then what the Wirecutter does is they give you a budget pick. So in this case, their budget pick is a Brother multifunction printer, which is $160 from Target, interestingly enough. So they're saying it might even be less. It might be $130. So you'd have to go look at Target to see what the current price is. Now they're saying that this is not the fastest, it isn't the best designed or the easiest to use, but it is cheaper to operate. Again, we're talking about this cost per page, this cost of ownership, and as you can see here, it's half the cost of the HP. It's 9 cents, 0.9 cents, less than a penny a page for black and white, and 4.7 cents for color. Now, when I went to Target, I won't take up the time to do that, but you can check that out. They had, with this particular printer, 6 months of ink came in the box with the original purchase. So the Wirecutter then goes here and gives you their upgrade pick. So this one is $600, so I don't think it applies to most of us unless you're doing a lot of flyers, a lot of color. You're running a business out of your home, or you're running a business out of an office, then you might want to consider this this printer. But for our purposes, this is not what you probably need. So let's look here. So let me pause here and ask if anybody has any questions. I see that Barbara is with us. Thank you, Barbara. And Anne. And here is an unpaid testimonial from the Caribbean. Leslie Ann says Instant Ink is great. So we set it up for her, and she has been happy with it. So I think the way that HP makes money on that is that the Instant Ink cartridges that they send you are not the same quantity of ink as the cartridges that you buy in the store, because they know you're only going to be printing 50. Now, again, there's more to Instant Ink. So there's a 50 page per month plan, there's a 100 page per month plan, and I think there's a 300 page per month plan. No, I'm not sure about that third one. I've really never had anybody go above the 100 page plan. So it's good, it works. They send you a envelope to recycle the old cartridges, so it's kind of a win-win situation. So any questions here about researching? Now, I would also say if you start at the Wirecutter, I would still look at Amazon reviews, which I do. So I don't take the Wirecutter, just because I found things on the Wirecutter that I didn't agree with. Cordless phones, for example, they didn't like the Panasonic cordless phones. I've always been a Panasonic fan. I recently bought a Panasonic cordless phone, and it worked just as well as the Panasonic cordless phones that I've purchased over the years. So Betty has a great question here. What kind of printers will work with an iPad or iPhone? And Betty, the answer to that is almost any printer now uses the AirPrint technology from Apple, and you can print. Now you have a very nice printer, which is an older printer, and it may not work with your iPhone. And Judy wants to know, what is the typical life of an HP all-in-one printer for the usual person? Now, again, we have to go back to that modern problem of quality control is not what it used to be. It should last for, I would think 3 years. Harry's printer that he replaced, I think, was a Xerox. It was 5 years old. I've seen, printers 4 and 5 years old die. And there's really no way to replace, there's no way to repair these printers. They're not made to be repaired. they don't make spare parts for most of these printers. Unless you get up into the more expensive office quality printers, then those can be repaired. But the consumer grade printers are disposable, unfortunately. So that's what you can expect. I would say 3, 4 years, 5 years. So Phil and Phyllis have been using HP's Instant Ink for 3 years. My goodness. And so that's quite a good testimonial. Thank you. Because, you know, it works. So HP figured out how to make money and save you money. So it's a win-win situation. So I think that I'll wait and see if we have any more questions while we're doing that. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't, and you can also click on that little bell that's there to the right of the subscribe button, and you will be notified when we go online. Also, remember that we are making house calls, so have mask, will travel. We also do screen shares when feasible, and that is not always feasible, but we're glad to accommodate you any way we can. And Bob says he's got 3 Brother laser printers in our home, and they're very happy. Yep, Brother laser printers are good. That's the one I recommend, and I'm pretty sure that's the one that Wirecutter recommends as well for their budget pick for a laser printer. So again, you got to remember that inkjet printers dry out in Arizona. So if you have an inkjet printer, you need to plan ideally to print on that once a week. So you might want to print a calendar out or some little, you know, something that you would be doing once a week, and that way you keep the cartridge from drying up, because if that cartridge dries up, you have to buy a new one. And even if you have the instant ink, if your cartridge dries up, I'm not exactly sure how that would work, because the printer is probably not going to phone home and say I'm dried up, but maybe it will. I don't know. Good question. So great. Well, thank you all for joining us. We'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat station. That's at high noon on Tuesday for GoFor Lunch number 40. So if you have any questions after we leave, you can always call or email, and that information is here. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching.